was black from the harvest. In the shadow of life is the hardest.
Hey Caleb, how you doing?
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing so good. How are you doing?
I'm great, and I'm just so happy we're finally having this Skype call because you're one busy man.
I know, I apologize. It's my fault it's taken this long, so I'm happy to see you.
And no, no apologies needed. The good thing is that we're here, we're talking, and that's the most important, aspect of it.
Exactly.
I headed over to your YouTube page, and
Yeah?
I just saw, of course, your intro. It was very powerful, just saying the kind of music that you're having on there, and
Mm-hmm.
there's this reggae that sounds
Mm-hmm.
very interesting, especially, when you guys perform it. I almost thought, like, is that kind of like a Jamaican, African kind of swag thing going on? Like every
Yeah.
song sounds different from the other. So what influences, I know you're a collective, but what
Mm-hmm.
influences your music in general?
Big time African music for sure. Reggae music for sure. And Afrobeat, those is a big part of it. And in hip hop. I mean, I grew up my influences are pretty diverse. And I think that's because as a young kid, I started traveling around in Africa. Not that young, but 17, a teenager.
Yeah,
Um,
that's still
and
young.
getting influenced by people in West Africa, and but then on top of that, back in the States, grew up in a very eclectic place where filled with different music happening all the time. Seattle is a very diverse musical town,
Right.
and so definitely I think just what I like to listen to and normally is what I start making in the studio. So a lot of times we do have like a reggae feel, but
Yeah.
not all the time. Some, like you said, sometimes it's different, and sometimes we want to pull something else. As musicians, we have this special bond, and so we experience that when we travel outside the states. We can land anywhere, and as musicians, we have that common ground, and we build something very special. So what I'm excited about is that all these folks are coming to Seattle, and we're going to be able to have that same experience right there in Seattle and show this audience how amazing um, collaborating as a group of, like you said, different people from all over the place, how much we have in common and how much we can really share with each other. So it's going to be an amazing experience, I think, for everybody.
I believe it will be. Like, this is going to be one for the history books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even let's not forget Nairobi Horns Project, man.
Oh,
Those
those guys
guys
are
are just
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, have you looked them up on YouTube? Their
Oh
work?
yeah, yeah. We've been studying their music all month. Yeah, those guys are
Nice.
amazing, man.
How do you make sure that whatever you're putting out is true to you? Have
As
a
far
point
as
to that.
authenticity or just being relevant to what is happening now is, there's I have to feel it. I have to be energized to write to it, to write about it. And I think that as my life has changed, so has my music. And like in this new album, there's what I've felt as an artist is that there's so much negativity in the world
Yeah.
that's happening that I don't really have the energy to write any music that's sort of negative in any way. So what I've been doing lately is I've been trying to write music that's strictly going to bring about some kind of positivity.
How did you get to know about, One Vibe and then eventually become part of it?
Yeah, I've known Simon now. It's been at least 5 or 6 years.
Wow, that's a while.
A friend of mine who I'm here with in Zimbabwe knows him as well. So through some friends, we knew each other. Seattle is kind of a small community that way, and got to know him. And I think back in 2014 or 2015, we collaborated on Madaraka Festival in Seattle, and then seeing the kind of artists that he's working with and stuff, it just was very natural progression. And then over these last few years, it's just growing and growing and growing, and seeing how the awareness and the connections are just building, the network is building. It's
Right.
just an amazing thing to be a part of.
What can you say as Caleb Cunningham you're bringing or you represent, in this project?
Yeah, I think what I'm bringing first and foremost is a lot of energy. We're putting a lot of work. So back home in Seattle, we're working to make sure that these artists, when they arrive, that we're going to be performing all their music, you know. So we're going to join each one of them on stage.
Okay.
So that collaboration is already taking place, even though they haven't arrived yet.
And I love the fact that it's for you, it's integrated. It was amazing speaking to you. You're very enlightening in terms of your music and, you know, how far you've come, the kind of projects you've done. And I cannot wait to see, you know, the kind of, performances that will be there in Seattle and what, you know, yourself you're going to do and other artists. So I wish you all the best. We invite you to be part of this phenomenal journey by visiting our Indiegogo page, and we welcome you to give any amount so that we can make sure that this amazing team can participate in Road to Madaraka and create a documentary that represents a new African narrative. If you're in Kenya, please contribute with the M-Pesa number 656251.